Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to my SimCity video tutorials. Today I will be continuing on with my building tutorials, in which I am playing out the city I have previously planned in my first 4 planning videos. This time around I am going to keep upgrading my low density buildings to medium density and start expanding my industry, which in this city is the oil drilling and refining industry. Since these videos are tutorials and not let's plays, there will be some time lapse and some jumping between scenes. Right now I'm going to cover the transition between low density to medium density in this neighborhood, which I talked about in my previous videos, because there are some issues when you're transferring from low density to medium and high density, the way which buildings take up space, and you want to try and maximize the space you're going to use and the buildings you're going to build on those spaces. This neighborhood right here is my high wealth neighborhood, around which there are some medium wealth housing, and on the left and on the right is my low wealth neighborhood. Now the thing is that when I started building the city, I used these parks, which means high wealth, and I only use them when they connect with each other and intersect in their area of effect. They create these dark green high wealth land values, which means this is where my high wealth citizens will come. Now as you can see, once we went to medium density, some of these spaces were not big enough for this size of housing to be built and be high wealth, and in these remaining spaces we now have some low wealth medium density and even some low wealth low density buildings. Now this is something that I need to eliminate. Now how exactly am I going to accomplish this? This can only be done by using the zoning tools and your attention. You have to start by examining exactly which of these places are high land value, which are medium land value, and where exactly is there enough space for which kind of building. I can start from right here. This is something exactly how I had envisioned it. I want one big medium density high wealth building right here and 2 low density medium wealth housing here. This is almost exactly how I wanted it to be. I only need this one house to increase in density, and I need to see on which side of the street have I chosen that. I've chosen this street down here. Now as you can see, because these 2 buildings are not exactly back to back, this building has not yet gone to medium density, even though it has enough happiness. Or does it? Well, it's actually missing only a little bit of happiness, so I can first destroy this building and see if that helps, and allow this building some extra space right in here so it can move and create a medium density building without having any issues with the spaces over here. So I'm going to destroy this right here and give it some time for it to expand to medium density in this area here. For this building, I wish it to remain medium wealth and low density. Behind it there is enough space, so I'm going to try and rebuild the other low density medium wealth house right here. On this side, if I switch to land value, I see that there is enough space for one more medium density high wealth house. Now the question is, where are they going to shop if I'm going to use up this space for residential and I am not leaving any space for commercial? Now I could hope that by destroying this building and these 2 buildings, and probably this one as well, this one here will grow to medium density, take up this space, while this little shop together with this park and this park will be enough to supply these homes with happiness. Now I'm going to bulldoze these buildings and see what happens with this building. It also has 16 happiness, it's missing only a little bit to grow, so I will have to give it some time. While I can see that it's 3 AM, this is about the time where I turn the school back on, so it has enough time to gather workers and start working before 6 a.m. and pick up children for school. Now let's see what happens with these buildings. Cheetah speed. Now you can see here, this is still not going to allow this building to increase in density because this building is on its way. Well, this piece here was filled up with low wealth, low density, which is something that I do not wish it to be. So this needs further engineering. Let's pause the game. Now, how do you deal with this? By bulldozing and rebuilding and bulldozing and rebuilding. Bulldoze, bulldoze. Unzone. Now rezone. And now you wait. And now this happens again. This is because the building, which was already here, wants again to be here. The zoning tool remembers which building land value and which building density was already there. It would only change if you change to commercial or industry. So what I'm going to have to do is destroy this again, unzone this piece here, and try to go house by house. Now, this size plot or zone, or however you want to call it, is just enough for one medium wealth low density house. I'm going to place one. If I place this one, as you can see, this one is smaller. This would be low wealth and low density. So what I'm going to do is try and wait for this to become medium, then build an additional one, and as you can see, it's a low wealth, low density. If I build an additional here, it's going to become medium. Now I have two mediums and one low. If I add this piece here, this building is again going to go on the left. This is something that's going to keep annoying you. Now, as you can see here, this piece here has a parking lot. These parking lots are actually extra space that you can get rid of. So what you can try to do is first destroy this, then unzone this residential, unzone this commercial. You can now destroy this commercial and wait for it to go away, and now you see it still remembers the size of the zone. So what you want to do is to zone this as residential and this part here as commercial. You want to give it some time, let it make some buildings, and then pause again. Now you can unzone just this piece here and destroy that building. Now this zone here has now become smaller. Now you can destroy this building itself and this zone here. Now once you create a new commercial zone, it has reset to its default shape. Now once you put down more of this commercial, you can wait for these buildings to develop only in the way and the shape you want them to take. You can simply pause the game, unzone areas which you do not like how they have developed, and simply keep zoning until you get the exact shape you wish it to take. Now as you can see, this has just become high wealth commercial low density. This is exactly what I have been trying to accomplish. Now that that building is set and it has been moved to the side, and it will no longer have a parking lot which would take up space, I can now rezone this as residential and again let the time roll. Now as you can see, this building has decided to go on this side again. This means that you're still not getting what you want. You can simply unzone again and zone it piece by piece, allowing it to make buildings that in total are going to be the size of 3 medium buildings. And you see what we have accomplished now. This little piece here is still not going to allow you for this building to become medium density because it cannot get past this park. Now you can fix this problem in two ways. You can try playing a little bit more with the zoning tool by destroying the previous zones and try making your own size by going from the left to the right. Now, in case if it still keeps fighting you like this and telling you to create a wider zone like this, but you can also try to destroy this building and start zoning from the edge and then letting a few buildings develop. Now, as you can see here, this one has developed again on the same place it has previously, which means that if you allow for these buildings to develop here, you're again going to get the same result. Now, if you see that you just cannot win and cannot get the zoning tool to give you the appropriate size, you can then try and go about solving the problem in a different way. You can simply move this park out of the way. I have it here, one more. There we go. Now it will finally have enough space to go from low density to medium density. And that is just one small piece. Now if I go to the right side, I see that this building has just enough space to develop here, while this medium house has enough space here. Now if I were to leave it like this and leave this piece zoned for the medium while not having anything zoned up here, in some cases this may, because of this road being a medium density road, become a medium density low wealth, even though this is a medium land value. Now in order to stop that from happening, you can simply unzone this piece and zone this piece in the back and see if it gives you another medium wealth low density house. It seems it doesn't want to do that, so you have to destroy it. The thing is, you do not wish to mix up zones too much, because right here I'm mixing medium with high wealth, and there are no shops in this block here for medium. This guy here can go to this shop for his medium wealth goods, but this guy has to go all the way around. Now, having a small low density house having to go for its shopping needs somewhere else, it's fine. But if you have a combined land value and where you have even low wealth, medium wealth and high wealth all on the same block, while only one type of residential has its own shop, then you're going to have more traffic because their shoppers are going to have to go further and further away, and they're going to be using cars and not walk. Now I'm going to keep using the same system I just showed you in creating medium density that I like and the size of the buildings that I want in this entire neighborhood. Now another trick you may use to get exactly the building you want is something like this. This exactly here is high wealth land value. Now if I place a commercial as I have here and let the time pass, it's going to create a shop, and as you saw it went low wealth, medium wealth, high wealth, which means if you want the medium, which I want for these people here, we're going to be medium wealth, and I want a medium wealth shop here, you simply have to let the game run in first speed and keep your finger on the pause button. Once this commercial starts developing, it's going to go low, and this time it went straight to high wealth. So you simply delete it and try again. Low. Medium. You pause the game. Now you have a medium shop. You unzone, and now you're 100% sure that's going to stay a medium shop. And here we are. It took some time, it took some effort, but we've managed to get these buildings all to go to medium density, be high vault, and we have even some medium vault up here, while in these in-between places where there wasn't enough space for new medium vault buildings to go to medium density, we have small houses which are low density medium wealth, and even some shops that are low density medium wealth to supply them with happiness, while these parks whose configuration I also had to change a little bit because of the land value, and with these few shops that are high wealth shops are going to be enough to supply these medium density high wealth residential buildings, and they are going to have, as you can see, they already have enough happiness to go even to high density if I wanted them to go. So it took only a few of these parks, 2 shops, and they already have enough happiness to go even high density. So they are kinda the easiest class to get high levels of happiness if you start off right away with parks and a few small shops that can even be low density. While over here I have these medium density low wealth, but on the edges, as you can see, my medium land value has spilled out onto this side of the street, so I have used my zoning tool to get a few of these medium wealth low density housing on these streets, while I have a big medium wealth and medium density commercial building to supply them all with enough goods. While on this side I have also made these medium density low wealth commercial and residential areas, and there are even 2 medium wealth medium density buildings for which I have made this medium density medium wealth shop, and this is why, because only a little bit of this medium land value has spilled out here, and even this building says it's on red on land value, low land value, but it was enough for it to become a medium wealth and a medium density building. So this may not look so pretty. This is only because I used these very small parks that give off only a limited amount of land value area of effect. If I had used something bigger, let's say these, I would have gotten something like this as opposed to this, which would have eliminated this medium wealth, but would have made so much high wealth that I would not have been able to supply that many jobs. In order to have enough power, I have had to upgrade with some more wind turbines. I have upgraded my water supply and my sewage outflow pipes, but this explosion of workers has allowed me to upgrade this mine with 4 coal extra drilling parts, these coal shafts, and now this coal mine will be able to produce around 120 tons a day, which is going to allow me to have a nice little, as you can see here, a nice little income from coal. And since I now have a lot of these workers, and as I told you before, you shouldn't pay too much attention to this once you go to medium and high density, because these numbers are kinda artificially inflated in this game. So you should just try and keep an eye out on your neighborhoods and just take a look on these buildings. Great places to shop. There's a single shop here. In his neighborhood, that shop says that it's managing a lot of profit. That means that that neighborhood is fine and you don't have to touch anything, and you don't have to pay so much attention to this chart here telling you that there are 300 unsatisfied shoppers and 142 unemployed workers. So that would be all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial I will be putting all these guys to work and start making the older elves. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.